Hey guys, sorry about the really poor lighting. It's pretty dark outside because it's night time. I'm here to do a video response to Misty's book chat on book choosing. I do apologise in advance if I seem a little bit far away, but I'm going to try to do this. Okay, so basically when I started reading, sorry I looked about the webcam, I've always been a reader, so I didn't exactly remember when I started, but in high school I was pretty heavy into reading. You know, I've always had a book, always. There was only 1 year when I was dating someone that only read one book, and yeah, that was like the worst year ever. I have to be reading something all the time. So pretty much I was living with my mum, and I was actually getting a little bit more money to spend for myself, and because I was by myself and my mother paid for everything else, I decided to start buying books. So pretty much what I did was just went into the bookshop and picked up anything that looked interesting. Basically I started with supernatural, paranormal, adult books, because those were the books that sort of piqued my interest. I think some of the first books that I ever picked up were the J.R. Ward's Black Dagger Brotherhood series, Christine Feehan books. I used to go to the library and pick up things like Supernatural, Occult, some random YA books, lots of books on writing, because I was very, very, very into writing. And then I moved, and I had a bit more money, so I decided to start buying more books, and I would go to like bargain stores or department stores or like Kmart, Big W, Target, QBD books, Borders, well not so much of Borders, but things like that, and I would just go for whatever was cheapest or whatever caught my attention. Around about the time that Twilight came out, my housemate was like, "Oh, I'm reading these books, they're so fantastic," and she was rubbing in my face, and I thought, well, you know what, I would like to talk about books. I love books, they are my life, and at that stage I was still reading adult fantasy, and then I got into Twilight, which was YA. I think I've always read YA books, but never sort of acknowledged that they're YA books. I just thought, you know, books are books. And so, pretty much from Twilight, I had an addiction. After Twilight, I made my partner at the time, not the one I have now, I made him buy me the Anne Rice books. I wanted to start them, but they always sat on my shelf for some reason. And then I started getting other books, like the Hannibal series. I started getting like chick lit books, just anything that I could afford, anything that looked good. And then I went into Big W and I started picking up like YA books or the latest books, because I always went to the section in the department store for books. So I just pick up anything that looked interesting. The funny thing is that this time around when I found YouTube or book hauls and things like that was when I was living in a share house, and me and my partner were pretty much delinquents. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we were really tight on money. I was really shitty. I had a really bad time just coping with things, coping with stress, coping with my life. We just got out of a really bad relationship with someone else, and so I started doing shoplifting things, which was really bad. But because I didn't know anyone, I didn't have any friends, I didn't have anyone to talk to about things that I was passionate about. And I think it was when I went on YouTube one day and just typed in books, and I came across Laura's channel, Laura Bookish Bell, I think it is. I can never remember, but I came across her channel, and I was absolutely, utterly hooked. I was just hooked, and I was fascinated that there was this whole world out there. And then from then on, like, you know, my shoplifting decreased. I started respecting books, respecting companies, respecting, like, everything about them. I started looking at sites and blogs and getting into this whole community, like, trying to be a part of it too. I think the first year, I think I've been on here for 2 years now, but the first year was the hardest, trying to sort of, I wouldn't say worm my way into the community, because I wasn't worming my way, but there were just a lot of people that had, like, lots of subscribers, and it was really tough, because I thought, well, is my opinion is not valid enough? Are people going to enjoy my opinions? And I got over that. I got over it pretty soon, when I started finding all these books and finding these people and talking to these people and sharing this passionate thing that is fundamentally just part of myself. So that is how I pretty much changed my habits from reading, like, whatever I could find to my room now. Sometimes it makes me so crazy to think that majority of the books on my shelf are from YouTube, from watching videos constantly, from blogs, from everything, from the book communities, from Goodreads, like, and then you find this book would be like this book, and then I would go, like, bargain hunting on sites that people recommended, and then I found Amazon, and it's insane. My whole world has completely changed. My whole concept of reading has changed dramatically, really, from, you know, teenage years. And me and my sister talk about this a lot, that, you know, when we were growing up, we didn't really have that much money. Every Saturday, my parents would take us to the library, and we would take out shitloads of books, and we would sit there the whole week and just read. And I think that has changed too. I think there's a time for me growing up and being in constant unstable houses, unstable relationships. I've got this sort of thing about myself now that I can't relax enough, and that's where reading comes in. This is where the community comes in, my feelings come in, my appreciation, and these friendships that I've built. They support me in being stable about something that I am passionate about. And also, I just think that I have changed as a person a lot. I value people's opinions more, and I don't really tend to find friends with people who don't like reading. I've had a few friends, and for some reason, I just couldn't get along with them. I couldn't get along with them because I didn't, like, enjoy reading. They didn't understand it. And I got bullied a lot for it, and I just thought, no, not anymore. So, I guess the BookTube community is really my home too. For me, it really feels like my home, and, you know, at times when I feel kind of shitty or sad or something like that, I go on there, I find a book, and I could be on there for hours. I also used to read lots of literary magazines where I would just pick up books, like Goodreads and a Good Reading Magazine Australia and things like that too. There were really good books in there, but there are some that I picked up that were, like, a little too, I wouldn't say intellectual, but just not really my thing. But nowadays I just solely pretty much watch shitloads of videos. I scour all the blogs. I go on Booktopia, Book Depository, what's the other one? Amazon, eBay. I go to my charity shops, and I especially like looking around for books that people have recommended. And pretty much I'll try anything. There are some genres and some books that just don't interest me. But the thing that Misty mentioned at the end of her video about how it has changed, and with reviewing and having a pile of books and not being able to have the luxury of choosing a random book to read, I think it sucks. I really do. And to be honest, this whole thing in my time right now is not working. It's not working for me. When NetGalley came, like I found out about NetGalley and things like that, I was so excited because, you know, there were these books that I could read before they came out on the shelves, and I could just read them. And I'd get excited and I request, and so far I've got like 60 or so that I got too excited about because of the hype and because I researched too much into it and I got too excited and I just lost the plot. And now I'm pretty much sitting here going, oh shit, well there's like 60 books that I have to review and I have like 10,000 on my shelf at home and I'm still buying books on my Kindle and from shops, and it's a little too overwhelming, and I have to ask myself at this point in my life when I'm trying to, you know, try and find a house, start a family, just do I have the luxury of doing that? Do I want reading to be a chore? Because that's what it sometimes feels like when I have to choose between the book that I asked for reviewing or the book that I really, really, really want to read. And then I resent that. I resent that book. Like now I start book hopping because there's so many other books that I want to read. The review books just, I don't know, I just lose interest in them. Not because they're bad books, but I just lose interest in the whole stress of the thing. And some people can deal with stress like that. A lot of people can. And a lot of people would say, well, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't review books. But I fully intend to review these books as well. So I guess that's changed my habits too, because fundamentally I try and read review books first. But and ARCs and reviewing, and it's just changed my whole perspective of reading. It's made me more, I wouldn't say slow, because sometimes I actually read a lot faster. It's just made me a little bit more overwhelmed when it comes to reviewing and doing things on my blog and doing things on YouTube and trying to relax, because reading for me is my life, and it's my temple. It's my temple I go to relax and to rejuvenate and to enjoy the written word. And if I'm not enjoying myself, then really what's the point of doing it? So, but that's how it's pretty much changed my life and changed my thoughts. So I hope this was okay. I did ramble a bit and tell you a little bit too much information, but it's just me. I'm pretty down to earth, and I like to be honest with people and share my experiences. So thank you guys for watching, and I shall chat to you later. Bye.